Danny Flexen, obviously for Seconds Out, here with Joe Joyce. We're going to take kind of a whistle-stop tour through your career, or through your life, in fact.
Yeah.
And first of all, just wanted to ask, growing up, you got into boxing very late. Were you kind of aware of boxing as a younger kid? Were you a fan of boxing at all when you were really young?
Well, obviously I watched a bit of, Ali fights and stuff like that growing up.
You're not that old.
I don't know. I wasn't like ever like really into boxing. I'm still not too much into it, but I like to watch the odd fight, the good fights and that. But I didn't get into boxing until I was 22, so I was brought up with a very sporty background, doing rugby and swimming, and I ended up doing athletics in uni and stuff like that. But I really caught the bug like just before I graduated university and started going to Elsfield amateur boxing gym, and got on well there, and
Under Sid
Khan, and won the novice ABAs, the main ABAs, and then fought Fraser Clark, and managed to get on the GB team, and then obviously from there, with the guidance of Rob McCracken and the other coaches there, managed to pick up quite a few medals, and Olympic silver being the pièce de résistance.
Not bad, is it?
Yeah.
Your parents were quite sporty as well, though, weren't they? You were brought up in that environment.
Yeah, so my mum was quite the athlete. She did like 100 meters. She was pretty fast, and she did stuff like tandem bike riding and kickboxing when she was like pregnant with my brother, and I don't know, cross country skiing and that. Whereas my dad, he did a bit of rugby growing up at school, and he was, very into swimming. He was one who took me to the leisure centre all the time, and, taught me how to swim. And, he did a bit of running, like long distance running, and he did a lot of karate as well. I think he got to a brown belt, so almost a black belt. And
are they still very active now?
Yeah, my mum, it's just went and climbed Kilimanjaro last year, so she's still quite active.
Just a bit,
yeah, my dad still keeps up with my younger brothers a bit, but so he's still pretty active. Not as active as my mum though.
And you said you played rugby and stuff like that, but did you get into any martial arts or combat sports before boxing?
Yeah, so I started off with karate when I was about 5, and did it through primary school, and then secondary school I started doing kickboxing, kung fu, and then I went to Shaolin Temple the year that I graduated, so I missed my graduation ceremony and went out because I already had a plane flight booked to China, so I was there for 2 months in a Shaolin school, and just before that time I started having a look at the boxing. And so when I got back and I graduated, then I was full time and really caught the bug for it.
What was it like at the Shaolin Temple, and what drove you to go out there in the first place?
I don't know. I used to go. I went with this friend from uni, and we used to go to this thing called Seni, which was in the
combat sports show at the O2.
Not the O2, the other one, at Excel, yeah. So
I had a store at Seni a couple of years for Fighting Fit when we used to have that magazine.
Yeah, so we got talking to this guy, and he said, yeah, he's just come back from Shaolin Temple and we should go. And then I didn't manage to go with my friend because he kept on getting injuries and that. So, but then I ended up booking my flight and managed to go. And it was tough there. It's train 4 times a day, and it's like the way the school is there, the Shaolin schools or the martial arts schools, the kids are there like boarding, and they, they're from young as 4 or 5 years old all the way up to like 18. So they train 4 times a day, and then obviously they have their like normal school lessons and stuff like that. So
what did you do out there when you weren't training?
Well, I think I had a day off. Like I think on a Thursday, so we'd like go and go to the bouncer shop and like have like noodles and these little I don't know if they're like little pastry things, but they're called bouncer. And I don't know, go to like, there's all these like weapon shops with like, you know, staves, 3-section staves and like swords and like
harking back to the Bruce Lee,
all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool because it's like in the countryside in Shaolin. It's called Deng Feng. So Shaolin was like, I don't know, like 2-minute drive or something away, and yeah, so we'd do that, or we'd go and, you know, do trips and have a look around a bit more. Oh, there's the bathhouse. That was cool. We went to the bathhouse.
Is that where you get washed by geishas and stuff?
Nah. That's
just my
that's Japan.
weird fantasy.
No, that's Japan. No, China. The bathhouse, like, yeah, you got to go in there naked, and they have like this big like. It's like a big like swimming pool or bath or whatever, hot water, and you can swim around in there. There's like there's these little stools in front of the mirror where you can like brush your teeth and have a shave and stuff like that. There was, you know, like saunas, and there's also like there's like a table, and there's like a guy that can give you a massage, but I was like, forget that. Or there's like little rooms where you can go and have a massage with women. I think I preferred that one.
Yeah, I would probably agree.
And there's like these dark rooms where you had like these reclining chairs and like little TVs, and you could just like go to sleep and chill and relax. I think there was like a pool table, and you could buy like ice creams and food and stuff.
Sounds amazing.
Pretty cool,
It sounds really good. Bit of a kind of opposite end of the spectrum that from your time as a male cheerleader, your brief career on the cheer squad. just tell us about how that came about out in the US.
Oh, so I did a fine art degree in fine art, and I did my art foundation in Camberwell College. I did an art foundation because one of my art teachers from my secondary school was like, oh, you should do an art foundation, see how you get on. So I did that, and then I went to Middlesex University, and I was there for 3 years. But in the in the second year, the end of the second year, I like saw some people that I'd seen in the first year, but I was like, where have you been? Like, and they're like, oh, we've been on exchange. And I was like, oh yeah? And they said, yeah, I've been to Spain for a year. I've been to like New York or whatever. So I was like, oh, I didn't even hear about that. So there's like, yeah, you need to go to the exchange office. So I went there and went to one of the meetings, and basically they tell you about it, and normally you have to go in your second year, but I managed to sweet talk my tutors to let me go in my third year, but I could only go in the first half of the year, because the second half is where you do like your dissertation and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. And then so my first choice was New York. But then I didn't get that because obviously was
very popular.
A lot of people, yeah, very popular. So my second choice was California, and so they had Sacramento State University was their, exchange uni. So I went there, and we went there early for exchange week. So there was all like the foreign students there a week before, and a lot of the sports people were there early. And I got talking to this girl, and she was saying, oh, she's a cheerleader, and she's just telling me I should come to training. And I was like, all right, yeah, because I wanted to learn how to do, because I can do loads of like somersaults and stuff off the diving boards, and but I could never actually do it on the ground. I could do stuff on trampoline and stuff, but she was saying, yeah, they do tumbling and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go and check it out. And like the first move they taught me was called the chair. So basically, it's synchronized. So you have a partner. There's the co-ed. So you have like the male and female, and basically the male bends down and at the same time as the girl, and then throws her up. And then you can catch them by the feet. But the first move I learned was the chair. So she sits on my hand.
Yeah, I've seen that in like cheer routines and stuff, yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool. And then at the end of the session, we was doing like, they was doing all tumbling, like mad, like gymnastics tumbling and stuff. I was like, all right. And I got help to do a back tuck. So I had the two guys on the team, they helped me learn how to do a back tuck. I did it a couple of times and managed to land just on my feet. And then that's how I learned to do my back somersault.
Which you now can do on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, a bit weird to have like Sam on one side, Adam on the other, flipping you over, wouldn't it?
I can now kind of, in theory, do it on my own now. I think I've been a bit too heavy because at the beginning of the last camp, you know, I was trying to show off in the gym because a couple of people could do backflips. So I tried to do a backflip and I landed on my knees.
It's a bit risky, isn't it, when you're training for a fight?
Yeah, so...
why are you pulling out the fight, Joe? Well, I was doing this backflip. Right?
I tried to do a backflip. Yeah, nah, even my like aerial was a bit dodgy with the last fight against Ustinov is a bit untidy.
Maybe it's time to retire your acrobatics.
Yeah, I need to work on it. I need more practice because I don't really get practice, and I think that's the good thing that now that I'm just focusing on one sport, because you know it's not about being a jack of all trades and a master of none. So I'm, just focusing on the boxing and seem to be doing all right with that.
Not too bad, yeah. How old were you when you first started boxing properly? Was it 20?
Probably 23.
23.
Yeah.
And when it became clear that you were a bit of a natural because you started winning a decent level fairly early on, did you see it becoming a career in terms of pro boxing, or did you only have ambitions in the amateur game at that stage?
No, the reason, when I started university, I wanted to get on the gold program, which was on at Middlesex, and it's for like, aspiring athletes, and I wanted to, because I'd started athletics, training to be an athlete, and I was, I was hoping to get to Beijing and and compete in Beijing, but I was trying my hardest to, improve and, get to the level where you're, the fastest times where you can actually, qualify for them awards. And I think the best I did was get a bronze in the Booster tournament, which was funny enough in Sheffield. Right. And I was like, I didn't even get the picture with the medal because I was upstairs looking at the boxing and stuff like that. So it was funny when I went for the trial at GB that I was like, I've been here before, in Sheffield, in the EIS.
And they were like, have you? They didn't remember you probably, but they probably see so many people. But yeah, so you were saying you were aiming for 2008 in Beijing.
Yeah.
Obviously ended up getting there eventually in 2016. But at what point did you think this isn't just an Olympic dream, this could be my career, this could be what I do for a living?
Yeah, I was very good at rugby growing up. So, I started off Ilford Wanderers and I went to London Scottish for a year and then I joined Rosslyn Park. And so we was like unbeaten for 2 years. We were a really good team. And
what position were you?
Well, I played full-back to like prop to second row predominantly, and also a bit of flanker, and I think it was inside centre or something. But yeah, mainly second row, and I was like A team in Surrey County Rugby, and obviously if I'd have carried on, I could have got into like the England team, I would imagine. But like my thinking was, it's not as well paid as like football and stuff like that. So I was thinking, but with the boxing, like obviously I wanted to be an athlete, but I wasn't really enjoying it and I wasn't getting the success as being an athlete. So with the boxing, when I started the boxing, all I had to do it was easy. All I had to do was win the fights, and just keep improving myself. And I started. I could see the pattern that I was being successful and I was just getting, I was improving in every fight, and I could see, once I've forgotten the GB team, then I knew I could just, keep winning fights and keep winning the medals, and then and get to the Olympics, and you know, it's like one step at a time, and I could see my future in it, and then obviously once I get the Olympic medal, then I can go pro, and then you can see the progression of where I could go.
So before you got to that stage, you obviously got into boxing as a grown man. You went through uni, you graduated. What did you think you were going to do for a career? What did you think your life was going to be before boxing kind of took over?
Well, obviously there's a long shot with the art. I'm like pretty good at art, so I was...
You're very good at art. I've seen your stuff. Not that I'm an art connoisseur, to be fair, but
that's like more of a... It's like it's quite difficult to get into. Like, I don't know, and you just have to be kind of smart where I don't know. It's a more of a difficult industry to get into. So I was doing lifeguarding, which then got into swimming teaching, because I'm like, why am I spending all my time on poolside? I could be earning more per hour doing swimming teaching. So I did swimming teaching, and then I started doing diving teaching as well. But it was also good because then I could use the facilities to train for my boxing as well. So it's quite good. So I also did a gym instructing. So then I could probably go into personal training or coaching. You know, if the boxing thing didn't work out.
So there was always a backup plan.
Yeah. And I could always be an art teacher as well. I've got a degree.
Once you got to the top in amateur boxing, you'd won the silver medal in 2016, which a lot of people felt should have been gold. Was there a point where you thought, I've reached almost the summit of the amateur sport, maybe I should look at something else? Or was it, by that point, was it no doubt in your mind you were going to turn pro?
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. I mean, I was thinking of turning pro after I won the ABAs with Alpha and Kurt Garvey. So I did think that, but then I was
both at Earlsfield with you.
Yeah, but then I started going. I was on trial for GB. So, you know, once I got on the GB team, then I kind of had my goals in mind, and then I was almost gonna go pro because I had a week with Barry and Shane McGuigan, and I was thinking of going pro then before the Commonwealth Games. But then I was thinking, no, you know, so close to the Commonwealth Games, maybe I'll do that first. And also felt I would like miss like the GB setup and my GB teammates and all that. So I ended up doing the Commonwealth Games and won a gold medal. And then it's like, well, it's only 2 years. I couldn't go to the Olympics, and you know, but obviously because I'm quite old, it would have been good to, you know, sometimes people think it turned pro too late. A bit late, but I think going to the Olympics and winning silver, you know, it's like a controversial one. So, you know, I could have been the gold medalist, but you know, everyone knows I won the gold medal. But it also, the Olympics gives you a platform as well. So when you turn pro, then it you know, you get looked after better, you get a better deal, and you're already established, so people know about you. So it was good.
And for someone who gets into boxing at an advanced age as well, it's probably a benefit to you that you had a longer amateur career. You know, and got that wealth of experience internationally before you went pro.
Yeah, and also you fight people from all over the world with different styles, and you pick up that experience along the way, and also with the introduction of the WSB and APB, even though that didn't really work out. No. But and then yeah, so you can like make all those mistakes. Whereas in professional, when you start losing, then it kind of goes all out the window.
You obviously were a consummate amateur. You fought internationally, as you said, against a variety of styles. You achieved at the very highest level as an amateur. And given how late you started, you're obviously a really quick learner as well.
Yeah.
So does it bother you, especially now when there's people out there who say, oh, he's quite basic or he's quite slow? Does that kind of annoy you a little bit, given what you achieved already as an amateur?
Well, I don't really care. I mean, people all have their opinions, but the people who give those opinions, I mean, what have they done? Have they gone even like a quarter of what I've achieved, like even like you know, have they even like laced up a pair of gloves and seen what it's like to, you know, hit a bag for like a round or 2 rounds or 3 rounds, and then you can kind of gauge a bit better, and then your opinion's more valid.
You progressed quickly and impressively as a pro, just as you did as an amateur. There's been a lot more changes behind the scenes as a pro. So you're on your 3rd trainer now as a pro. You've obviously switched promotional deals from being with Haymaker and Ringstar to now Ringstar and Frank Warren.
Yeah.
How's that been for you? Has it been quite up and down for you? Or do you just kind of leave it to a team in the background, making all those changes on quite a frequent basis?
Well, yeah, I've got 2 managers, Adam and Sam, in SJAM, and you know they've been there with me from the start. So
they've been the one constant, really, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah. So I started off my journey with David, who you know is really great character to start off my journey. Obviously with Richard Schaefer as well, but it's really good to be in camp with him leading up to, you know, he's got a lot of experience in self-promotion, and also like, you know, his diet and his training regimes really good to spring start my career. And having, you know, the likes of Ismail Salas, he was like the trainer for David and the Haymaker team. So it's great to, and it's also one of the reasons I made a good choice in having that start. You know, so it really helped me like learn and really get the technique and biomechanics right for a year. And then when kind of David lost to Bellew, and then it all kind of fell apart, and you know, Salas went off into like retirement, so we had to find, or semi-retirement, so we had to find another coach. And so Sam kind of got in contact with Abel, and then we went up to Big Bear to see what it was like to do a trial with him, and you know, it got on really well. I enjoyed like training there, and you know, had a couple of fights under him, and but I felt that I belonged in the UK, and it was a bit too much like travelling and stuff like that in between places. So it was good that because Sam had already been talking to Adam Booth, but then he wasn't. He didn't have the time at that time to train me, and it's only because of Sam's persistence that he managed to agree to it. And so we came back here, had a meeting and that, and I did another kind of trial to see how we got along, and we gelled. So here I am. I've had another fight, and this one coming up, and things are going well. I'm learning stuff and doing a lot of pads and a lot of leg drills, and you know, I think it's really good.
Is it fair to say Adam's got a fair bit more in common with Ismail Salas than he has with Abel Sanchez?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's like I picked up where I left off almost from what Ismail Salas was teaching me. But you know, it's not to say that I didn't learn much off Abel. Abel, you know, taught me how to really, you know, you've seen Golovkin. You see how he puts them like massive hooks into people. Like people had to wear like body armor to spar him at sometimes. So his training, his regime is very rigorous, and you know, taught me a lot in that regards. And to, you know, really be a tough, you know, to be able to take a punch and to give one, you know.
He always seems to focus more on your physical attributes rather than the technical side. compared to Adam, for example. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
that's a fair assumption.
So now it's more about, as you said, a lot of footwork drills, pad work, working on your movement, explosivity, because that's kind of what's seen as the Adam Booth style, I suppose.
And to like get your head off the line and not get hit, not get hit as much, which I prefer. Yeah.
How are you finding kind of sticking to the discipline of it though? Because over a 12-round fight, which obviously you're not, last fight you weren't extended particularly long, but over a 12-round fight, sticking to that sort of game plan where it is stick and move, get your head off the line, counter punch at times, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Adam's not going to try and change my style completely. He's, I'm still going to be the juggernaut coming forward and, putting a lot of pressure on my opponents. But then it's also to be able to move and move my head if I have to.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So it's like add into my game.
And you're really committed to the move, as evidenced by the fact we're sitting here in your flat, which isn't too far away from Adam's own house.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
6 minutes down the road. He's got a gym in his house as well, where you do some of your sessions there and some at the gym.
Yeah.
What's it like when you're not in the gym? We were talking off camera about this. You come back to your flat, which is lovely, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's all right. You didn't build it, but yeah, it's
I know. Yeah, I built it.
Yeah,
brick and mortar myself.
Yeah. I think I complimented you on how nice your washing smelled, which sounds a bit weird, like creepy. I haven't been going around sniffing your washing, but I just said, "What's that lovely smell in it?" And you said, "That must be my washing." You seemed very proud of it. Yeah, yeah. If the drawers are still open. No, but getting back to what I'm asking. We're in this lovely flat, but you're here on your own most of the time when you're not training in the gym. What do you get up to in your spare time? Does it get lonely?
No, I like it. Bit of peace and quiet. I can, I get back from training. I can, warm up a ready meal and a meal prep, and then put my feet up or have a nap. Play a bit of video games, play a bit of PlayStation, or maybe the PC, the new beast thing I built, well, with my friend Arian.
Gets name checked this time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty good, and I'm 15 minutes drive from the gym, so it's.
You haven't been popping around to Adam's when you get bored, have you?
Yeah, I could.
Hey, Adam.
What's up? I'm there for like pretty much every day for the second session anyway. So I get in the gym for about 11 in the boxing gym, and then I do my second session with Adam at like 7 o'clock. So
there doesn't appear to be at the moment a Mrs. Juggernaut. Is that correct?
No, Mrs. Juggernaut. Yeah.
Is that something you think about? I mean, obviously you talk about accelerating your boxing career because you're not getting any younger, if you like, in a boxing context. You're younger than me, obviously. But do you think about kind of the whole settling down thing?
Yeah, not yet. I've still got a lot to do, and till I settle down properly, and also it's finding the right one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you were saying to me before when you were in California at the weekends and stuff, you used to go into town and you'd have fun meeting girls and so on, things like that. Have you found it a bit kind of quiet, not just in terms of girls, but generally a bit quieter around here? We're quite near Red Hill, I suppose, in Surrey. About giving away your location.
Yeah, I've got my car, so I can, I have options.
Without sounding too creepy, yeah. Cruising around the streets of Surrey, leafy Surrey.
Straight out of Surrey, yeah.
Yeah, straight out of Surrey, yeah. Next big fight, probably the biggest of your career so far, though Bermane Stiverne was a great win. Bryant Jennings is very much coming to win. I'm not saying Stiverne necessarily wasn't, but the shape he came in didn't look particularly ambitious, whereas Jennings, having spoken to him at the press conference and up at the O2 when we climbed the O2.
That was so awkward. Like, we was on that speedboat, all four of us.
In the morning.
Yeah, him, Dubois, and Gorman.
Yeah, but Dubois is a chatterbox, isn't he? So
oh yeah, he was leading the conversation.
Yeah, I bet he was. Yeah, but Jennings seems like a really nice fella. But that aside, he's got pedigree. He's coming in. He's fought for a world title, of course. He's only lost to 3 of the top names in the division.
Yeah.
This must be a real, and it's only your second fight with Adam. This must seem like a real challenge for you.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. Like, yeah, he's only lost to Klitschko, Ortiz, and who's Dillian fighting?
Oscar Rivas.
Oscar Rivas, yeah. So yeah, 3 big names. So
and he was doing really well against Rivas. It was only that last round that really separated him.
So yeah, it's a real big fight, a real big challenge, and I'm training hard and smart to outbox him, outsmart him, out-juggernaut him.
I think people will be expecting you to win on the whole, but I think if you outbox him rather than just come forward, use your fitness, use your strength to demolish him, I think that will really turn a few heads.
And it'll make my, because beating like these more credible people, it gives you a lot more like reputation, and I think I'll earn a lot of reputation from this fight, and also I think he's pretty highly ranked in all organisations. So should I beat him, it'll be a good one to go on the box rec.
You're obviously mandatory for 3 belts, none of which you're going to be fighting for in your next fight. The British title, which is now going to be between Dubois and Gorman, you kind of stepped aside, let them fight for it, which I completely understood, because certainly at the moment you seem to be a step or two ahead of those guys.
Yeah.
But European title against Caballero hasn't been nailed down yet, and the WBA regular against Char, they're 2 fights you've wanted for a while. Is it becoming frustrating yet that you haven't nailed down, well not you, but that those fights haven't been nailed down yet? Yeah,
preferably I'd like to have, you know, had one of the other, got either the European or the WBA regular, like we fought for that. But this one with Jennings, the WBA gold belt, I think's on the line for that one. My WBA gold.
WBA gold belt, yeah.
So, I think after that fight, then it will definitely put me more in the mix, or if not in the mix properly.
What is the kind of plan? You obviously talk about it with Sam. You're a very thoughtful guy. You're not one of these boxers just, I do whatever my team tells me. Do you know what I mean? You think about your career path as you did as an amateur. So what's the plan after Jennings? Is it still that WBA focused route, or have things opened up a bit now?
Well, I think we'll see what options are available after beating Jennings. I'm not going to look past him. I need to like deal with him.
Just look past him for like 30 seconds, and then we can get back to him. But is it a WBA focused approach? Is it still Char that's most on your mind, or do you look at, you know, Anthony Joshua, for example, losing to Ruiz in a big upset? Do you think, oh, maybe there's an opportunity there now?
Yeah, because I think Ruiz he's already lost one of the belts or something.
I don't think he has yet, but I think he's
losing
likely.
Yeah, so more of their belts will come available, so it will create more opportunities for me to capture one of them belts.
And should it all go well the rest of your career how you want it to, what do you want people to say about you when you do eventually retire? How do you want them to kind of remember you? It sounds a bit morbid, but...
I know, well, I think I've got a few more years left.
Yeah, no, you have.
But yeah, just for being a swell guy. Is
that it?
No, no, joking. And,
we liked him.
I don't know, like the most decorated. Like I was the most decorated amateur male boxer from the UK. So it'd be nice to retire undefeated, undisputed, something like that, to leave a legacy and you know, have younger boxers or boxers who started their career later, you know, be able to say, oh well, he did it, so it gives me a chance to do it.
Yeah, but then they'll overshadow you ultimately, won't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't got
you lose 5 people to overtake you.
Yeah, but I haven't got too much longer. Maybe I'll bring some more people through.
Yeah, no, that'd be a really good legacy to leave. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, Joe Joyce, it's been a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
All right.
Cheers. Bring it in. Bring it in. The JUGGERNAUT.
Oh, the JUGGERNAUT.
I said I'd get it. I said I'd get it.
The JUGGERNAUT.